Pisces, your week commencing the 5th of January forecast has a little bit of a dichotomy threaded through it. At the very start of the week, you could find yourself feeling a bit on edge. The opposition between the moon in Leo and Pluto in your 12th house could trigger an insecurity, something you're unsure about. But as the week goes on, the potential to build positive dialogue or connections or network to others is actually really incredibly strong. If you're someone with a very clear vision of what you want from your long-term future, you could take a giant step forwards towards it this week. But the 11th house, where we have the cluster of energy in Capricorn, can also be about friendships. And the friendships you're really wanting this year are people that you can utterly trust, but also may share your values. Just having people that you get on well with at a certain level is probably not going to be enough. And because we do have a Venus Cazimi Tuesday, maybe there's one particular friend at the moment that you're finding particularly inspiring. But then Venus and Mars come into a conjunction on Wednesday. Is that person someone you want to be intimate with? It could be a question that's asked. But then in an existing romantic relationship, the thing to bear in mind is the things you share in common. We can all focus on the things we find more difficult about partnerships, but do celebrate those things, those commonalities you have. But on Thursday, if there is something you're really wanting to go for that perhaps goes beyond the physical realm, it's more about what inspires you. The conjunction of the Sun and Mars, the Cazimi there, can give you such a lot of determination to take a giant step towards that long-term goal. But just know your traditional ruler Jupiter's continuing its retrograde through to the 11th of March does go face to face with those cluster of energies in Capricorn towards the end of this week. And one of the things you don't want to do is, to use an old expression, try not to run before you can walk. So even if you've got a big plan, even if it is inspiring you, that part of your nature which can be almost idealistic or very spiritually idealistic, very Jupiterian, needs to in some ways have some guardrails, because as much as you may want to go for what really does excite you, don't get too much into the plan without carefully doing your research. But what can help you is the dry old energies of Mercury. Mercury rules the signs of Gemini, very much about quick communication, the messenger, the conversation, but also the earth sign of Virgo. Here it's very much about precision, going through the processes. And in Capricorn, Mercury can be actually very businesslike, and I think can help to balance some of the abundant and exuberant energies that are building towards the end of this week, which are a little bit potentially unrealistic. So Mercury can just help you to detach a little bit. Just think very carefully about whether some of the ideas you've got work in lots of different ways. And if you really go through those ideas and discuss them, perhaps with a friend, or get some very good advice, that would be a very shrewd thing to do. Now, right at the end of the week, there is a quarter moon in Libra. If there is one friend around you who tends to be a little possessive or controlling, or maybe a little clingy, doesn't let you or doesn't want you to perhaps mix with different people, that's a relationship that could really irk in the following week. It doesn't mean to say that you want to fall out with that person, but I think the people who really are going to inspire you at the moment are those who share your values. And sometimes those values for a Piscean definitely go beyond the material sphere. But just to say, if you've yet to order your personal forecast for the next 12 months based on your unique birth data, no two charts are the same, I've cut the price specially down to 50% off. You'll also get your life roadmap report and your free gift of your general love Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast. Please just apply Astro26 at the checkout to get that 50% off.